the government should be an investor. If you build a road, it should spur development. If you invest in schools, the kids who study in those schools should come out independent and be able to get opportunities for themselves. What Edwin again is pointing to and relates to the youth is tokenism. Because if you have a government that is tokenistic, it means it does not want to spur development. It wants to feed you. But young people don't want to be fed.
But the reason why I'm feeding you is so that I have you under control.
For me, this is what I will prophesy. Any government that avoids enabling you to feed yourself and feeds you instead, once you fatten and you've eaten and you're full and you are tired of being fed, you will deal with that government.
I think it's easier to empower young people to do what can help them develop than doing all these shady things.
Hello, good people. Welcome to another episode of the Urban Online Show. My name is June, and today we are going to be talking about something we talked about in an X-Space, and I promise that we're going to be talking about it in a podcast. And we're going to be looking at the disconnect between stakeholders, which Edwin will want to call government, and what young people think as solutions. So we're going to give different examples of the different solutions we see being offered to young people and how they don't resonate with what young people think based on what they're doing in the community and the different initiatives they have in the community and the fact that they have lived in that community more than these stakeholders. So join us as we continue this conversation. Don't forget to not just watch but also subscribe. So Edwin and Calvin, welcome to the show.
Yeah, my name is Edwin Odhiambo. Happy to be here. Happy to talk about the role of duty bearers from the perspective of the community, and also try to understand how duty bearers see service delivery to community members, especially young people. Yeah.
And my name is Calvin Shikuku. I have a new name.
Wow.
You can call me Calvin Mojo.
Okay.
Since when?
Since today.
Okay.
Many things.
Okay.
But I love working with the youth because I'm one person who believes that we should not be limited by the places where we've been or the lives we live. We dream anything, we can achieve it. And I speak about issues that touch on the youth, entrepreneurship, governance, and all that.
So in my introduction, I mentioned you're going to be talking about stakeholders. Then I mentioned duty bearers. Then I found myself mentioning government. So are these things different? Like, is there a difference between a stakeholder and a duty bearer? Or are they the same people? Or at what point are you a stakeholder? Or at what point are you a duty bearer? Or at what point are you like a government? Yes.
I'll want to hear this from Calvin.
Well, a government can be a duty bearer, is a duty bearer, and is also a stakeholder, depending on the context that we are in. However, not all stakeholders are duty bearers, because duty bearers are people who, by virtue of the position they owe us something. So mostly people refer to duty bearers as people who work for the government, who are supposed to do things for us. But stakeholders is broad because government are stakeholders in some contexts, but not all stakeholders are duty bearers. For example, in development in a community like Mathare, the youth are stakeholders, but they are not duty bearers, right?
Yeah.
So it's slight. They are used interchangeably, but they mean different in different contexts.
Yeah, I like that. And you have really elaborated duty bearers in a clear way. For me, when it comes to stakeholders, I always put it simply like anyone with interest. right? So if you have an interest in something,
Yeah.
then you become a stakeholder. If development of our communities, you look at who would be interested in that development. Is it companies, right? If any company would find an interest in any way to develop that community, then that company definitely become a stakeholder. We have had stakeholders that are banks that are depending on whether they have interest or not. To some extent, the reason why government always fall in both categories is because as much as it's their duty to develop that, they should also be interested in developing that. Yeah. So for me, you have talked about the duty bearers. I would say for the context of stakeholders, is anyone with interest. Then that
So I'm
person
getting the
becomes
difference between a duty bearer and a stakeholder
Yeah.
is a stakeholder has an interest,
An interest, yeah.
but is like they don't owe you anything. Like they're doing it out of their own interest. But a duty bearer, as much as they have an interest, this is something they're supposed to do because of maybe
They have a responsibility.
responsibility.
Some
Okay.
stakeholders do something, but it is not their responsibility to do it. Yeah, it can only become their responsibility if now we want to follow up and make sure they do what they say they want to do.
Okay.
But that tag of duty bearer is placed on somebody who, for example, we pay to do such a thing.
Or we voted.
Yeah,
for you
we
to
voted for you. We pay you to do it. You are a duty bearer.
Now you
Who are you
mentioned
paying?
three things. You mentioned a duty bearer, you mentioned
Stakeholders
stakeholders,
and
then you
government.
mentioned government.
Yes.
Now who are government or who is government? Because I remember the other time we were really having this problem where a government official was there
Yeah,
and was
say
asking
every time
us,
you're
who
pointing
is the
fingers.
government?
Yes.
Yeah. So when things are okay, they are the government. When things are bad, the
Like now,
government
who
is
is
me
the
and you.
government?
Yes.
Okay.
So we also need to define
Who is the government?
Who is the government or what is the government?
Textbook definition
Yeah.
used to go like a group of people or something, an entity tasked with the responsibility of governing a place. It also pegs a geographical location, something like that. So me, I will go for that definition,
Okay.
where this is a group of people who have been given a mandate to govern. To govern is just to oversee, to because governing means there is a goal somewhere.
Yeah.
So there is that day-to-day achievement of tasks.
Yeah. How do we
or-
reach towards this goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are a group of people that we have given that responsibility to help us achieve certain things, of which in this case it is governing. And governing is just to ensure things flow in this direction. This is how things happen. This is how this happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how
It's a good way. There is a very thin line between government and duty bearer. Just
So
the
you
same
can be a
way.
duty bearer and you're not in government.
I feel so. I have a feeling so. Because when we're talking about governance is generally leadership. This could happen anywhere. But you realize that when it comes to government, with that definition of textbook, there is an aspect of sovereignty, meaning you are bringing the context of country. You said geographic
Yeah.
context. So that will then ensure that this group of people we are talking about that have been given the mandate,
Yeah.
most probably they are people who then must operate within the boundaries of a country,
yeah.
right? But you can get a mandate that maybe you get because some community members have sat down and say, when ni mzee wa kijiji wetu, you're not getting any salary from the government, you're not getting any, I don't know, it's not an official position,
Yeah.
but you're still a duty bearer in the eyes of those community members. Yeah.
And maybe we could discuss, and that's why if you look at it, nowadays even the wazee wa kijiji, there are discussions. In fact, there is a policy to pay them. Because
Okay.
they have been duty bearers, but there is no incentive on their part
On
from
their
the
part,
government
from the government.
to continue
So they're
doing
not
what
government,
they do.
but they are duty bearers.
They are duty bearers.
Okay. There is also a very thin line between duty bearers and government. For government, they must be jurisdiction that then brings the aspect of sovereignty, more of a country, right? But within these communities of ours, we have been able to select or elect or appoint duty bearers that are not even within the government, right? So this could be mzee wa kijiji, just some old person tumefikiria this is wise enough, can lead us in how we do our day-to-day operations within the community. Maybe something has happened, they call for dialogues and things like that. These are people that are always not within government payment or government positions, but they are still duty bearers. For them, they don't have to operate within a country or what, but the aspect of governance is still applies to them too. So I think we have got the definitions of the three terms.
Just to add on that,
Yeah.
Government is primary duty bearer. Is the
They are
primary
duty bearers.
Okay.
Then the other ones add to what the
Which
government
adds to
is doing.
Which adds to the point that I was saying last time. You remember when I was saying, okay, for me, I don't even care about the rest of duty bearers, but we need to deal with this primary. Deal with them.
Because it's like these other duty bearers
Yeah.
are supplementing the government.
Supplementing.
Okay.
It's like saying you are a stakeholder, but by virtue that, okay, let me use development agencies like organizations. By virtue that you are an organization, there are things we expect from you, like upholding human rights. You see?
You have a duty.
It looks like an option to you, but there is that small extent that we place it on you that it's your duty to uphold it, right? So that makes these stakeholders duty bearers, but there is that thin line from what you were saying. That some stakeholders, the responsibility of duty bearing is, it looks optional, but because of they're in that space or because of what they do, we
The
still
community
expect them
expects
to
them to
uphold
do that.
some things.
Okay. A lot of if you continue, there might be a lot of confusions. But you mentioned now organizations as duty bearers. By the virtue of them, whatever they're doing in the community, there are certain things they need to do. By the fact that they're organizations, right? And right now, a lot of organizations that are coming up are youth-led organizations. So this means these youth-led organizations are duty bearers.
Yes.
Okay. So should they be treated equally with those other duty bearers that are not youth-led organizations?
Well, that's a tough question.
You know, when you sharpen your sword, it cuts both sides.
Yes.
And so for me, you would want them to be responsible to the extent in which they can be.
Okay.
It's the question of, are youth disorganized? And then I was like answering you and telling you that they might be disorganized due to the way the structures, the setup, And so I think it's the same kind of analogy I want to bring here, where I would say, yes, they're responsible, but to an extent in which they can be. You don't expect them to address things like community health, awareness, yet they're not even empowered to do that. We know that organizations should be teaching things like SRHRs, or maybe address social issues like what would I say? Peace. We could talk about safety. We could talk about children protection and all that. We know they're supposed to do that, but are they empowered to that level? So for me, I would expect youth-led organization to be responsible to the level in which they can be. So we are not expecting the moon from them. But if we empower them to this level, then they should be responsible to that
I get
level.
what I'm saying. I'm not even asking to that aspect. This, like, they've identified the level they can. This is something they're doing. Like, they have chosen the areas they can do based on their capability. They're going for the different trainings to make sure they reach a certain level of giving back to the community or making community a better place. Now they have reached a point where they are sitting in tables with now other organizations that are there before them, right? So if they have reached that level of negotiating what should be done in their community, because they're also doing something in the community, and then there's this other organization that has, like, let me say, a lot of funds and money in terms of certain like things. So should those conversations be in equal levels because they're all doing some, that is like what I'm asking.
Yeah, by all means, yes, because they are empowered to that level.
Yeah, the thing is, from the question you asked, I think it is still right to demand that youth-led organizations maintain the same standards you expect from other organizations.
Okay.
But the truth is, especially in this country, there are all kinds of barriers that prevent that from happening.
Okay.
And if we ask that of youth-led organizations, we must also commit to dealing with those barriers and all kinds, structural, financial.
I think what you're saying is more or less saying that we can't ask them for too much if we have not given them anything to work with in the first place. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
So we expect a lot from youth-led organization, just as we expect a lot from those developed organizations.
Yes.
But do they have the same tools? Do they have the same power? Are they, because those have to be considered if we have to put them in the same measure of scale. Yeah. But if they can be empowered to that level, then of course, by all means, they should operate in the same expectation.
And maybe we should use examples.
Yes, yeah, sure.
I was looking at a video by Morara Kebaso.
The inject guy.
The inject party. And he was saying the amount of money it takes to register a political party. It is literally impossible for young people like me and you to register a political party unless we have godfathers who again will help us, and then we are not independent. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, let's expect the same standards,
Okay.
but let's as well deal with
The
these barriers.
Okay. But now I want to, like, give a scenario. If you, Calvin, you're an organization that has, like, these barriers are not a challenge to you because you have funds, you are able to reach the government, you're able to reach funders, like, you're in that position. And then there is me, this organization that, like Edwin is saying, you've been empowered, like, everything. But the only barrier we have maybe are funding or reaching, we don't have that connection. And then because we are working together with you, like, so that you are like the bridge between me and now these funds, because I don't have the funds, but you can get them. Now you are helping me to get this small organization. So how are we supposed to work in terms of, so that it doesn't look like bowing or binding everything that we as this youth-led organization are supposed to be doing to make sure we work. I don't know if that question is to make sure you work with you without seeing, okay, you are too much empowered, we are in a competition kind of, or if you call me for like a meeting and you tell me late, I'm like, no, you were supposed to have communicated earlier. Are you now going to think, but I'm empowering you or something like that? I don't know if the question imekutoka.
Makes sense. For me, I think I get it, but I think I get it because there is a context. I don't know if Calvin, you get it.
I'm floating.
You're floating. Yeah, for me, I think I got it because there is a context in which I'm relating these two.
Okay, let me give you the context. I'm not, like, going to be playing it. For example, a I run like an organization, let's say Generation Shapers organization is in that level where they're able to reach funds, like they've grown to that level, and then they've been working with other also upcoming organizations to also reach a level of sustainability, right? And now, because I'm working with these organizations and they are still at a level of the need to reach sustainability, I'm teaching them my ways as Generation Shapers. Should I now make them to abide to everything I say? So if I want them for a meeting tomorrow and I call them at like 12 midnight, they should be available because I'm giving them the leeway. Or if I want them anywhere, I should not be communicating early because so such things like
So for me, I will say from your question, I think you are asking about how partners relate, for example.
but in this scenario with
Yeah.
a big organization and an upcoming organization.
Well, I think mutual respect is something that's very
For me,
important in any relationship.
I was thinking by the way, John, that is not even a question of an empowered, not empowered youth, or even normal organizations. It's a question of if you're going to partner with someone or any entity, how is the arrangement between you?
Okay.
Because when we start bringing issues of an empowered organization or an organization with access to fund and one that has no access to fund, then already we have started defining entities with the goal of their status influencing the partnership. So for me, I would want to say that if you're going to engage with any entity or with any person, the mutual respect aspect that you're talking about should prevail despite the status of the other party. If a bigger organization was to work with a bigger organization, would they book an appointment?
They will.
They will. Why is it that now when you're working with a youth-led organization, you don't want to book appointment? You just want to call them and
Because
expect them to be there.
I'm giving you funds.
Yes.
Like I'm in between you and the funds.
They're also getting funds from someone else.
Okay.
Are you sure that person just calls them and tells them, I want you tomorrow in a meeting?
Okay.
They set meetings, they book appointments, they write emails. Why can't that be trickled down? Actually, everything should be standard professional until the one that is seen as the less entity there gives you the privilege to not follow the professional channel. So for example, if you are the entity with funds and you want to reach out to me, start the official way. Just write emails until mimi nikuambie that, okay, we don't do well with emails, but you can call me, right?
Okay.
Like it's always up to the lesser entity to tell you that, okay, you can do calls, I'm okay with calls, or you can do WhatsApp, I'm okay with WhatsApp. But when you're starting, you start with the official.
I'm glad you said the last part.
Yeah.
Because kwa ground, when you come to kwa ground and putting the youth in perspective, the youth don't like very official.
Yeah. Yes.
You get it?
Yeah.
But that does not mean that now you need to be told short notice. Or you need you
I think
get
professionalism should just maintain, unless mimi ndio nikwambie, let's do chats or let's do calls. Because do you know when it is up to their discretion to do that, they also get a lot of, because the way we want to operate as young people also provides a lot of loopholes. So for example, if by virtue that I'm a young person, you just want to do calls, how are we going to prove some of these things when maybe there is a court case or maybe there is some official contract that needs to be done, and you can't say that alinipigia? That is never always accepted anyway.
Okay.
So let's just do the official way, and if I want to give you privilege maybe to do text or calls, the young people will tell you.
I think from what you're saying, Edwin, let's just be flexible to assess how to engage.
How to engage.
Not come and
Just
Not
ask
dictate.
us, how do you
Okay.
want us to engage? I think using a template is not really good because like what you're saying, and then the mutual respect aspect is also important because I don't have funds, that does not give you the right to mistreat me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing it. But I think mutual, okay, coming to this level of now bending or being flexible will only come after you've created that relationship with between two parties. Because when you're starting, I don't think if you're going to tell the other partner that you can now call or.
but June, for me, I think, okay, maybe this is expecting too much, but I always expect that the bigger organization should already know how to partner with young people. I mean, for God's sake, we have SDG 17, and it's a whole book of how partners should relate to each other. How entities should relate to children, how individuals should relate to individuals, institutions, governments to governments. So how many years have we had SDG 17 since it
But
was?
you know, that is now you may be assuming that they have been reading those
The
things.
fact that they are
understand.
bigger than us, they will be reading those things. I'm not asking this for a
Because
youth-led
maybe, listen,
organization.
maybe this organization is the first time they want to work with young people. It's not like they've
Okay.
been working with
Okay,
them.
we'll cut them some slack then.
Yeah.
But by the way, let's read SDG 17. It gives us a lot of ways on how partners should work together to solve community issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this brings me to that point where now we are going to what we're supposed to be talking about. After all these things, partnership, how we're supposed to communicate, these things are on the table. And I think it's not the first time we're talking about this. We've talked about it in different forums. It means it's a conversation that organizations have been trying to look into how they're going to work with young people, those that are showing interest. But now let's look at what the young people are offering and what duty bearers are offering. Because if it's partnership, it means you people are doing something, right? So, for example, a duty bearer is supposed to make something, and there's also a youth organization that is doing the same thing. So, is that like a competition, or how should that go?
For me, it should not be viewed as competition.
Okay.
And it cannot be competition. It's just that sometimes our worldview, development can never be competition. And I'll give an example. Organizations have been working in Mathare, Kibra, and so many informal settlements. Why isn't there an astronomical impact or change? It's because some of these funds is just a drop on an ocean. Because people have very big needs. Maybe sometimes people might think it's competition because maybe they're in a small cocoon and maybe the people they are targeting are virtually the same. But for me, I would say there is a lot of opportunity, and I use not opportunities, opportunity as a singular word. There is a lot of it in terms of partnering to develop. Because if I get to hear that Edwin supports a student to get to school, and I know the students doesn't have food at home, and Edwin is not able to support them eat, but I know if they don't get the food, they'll drop out of school.
Okay.
So if I partner with Edwin to support the food while Edwin supports the school, it's a win-win. And we are tripling the chances of making the impact that we desire. And you know, your impact in education can be interfered with something totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that speaks to a lack of coordination within the development world. There is totally lack of it. and there is totally a lack of the bigger picture that helps us connect A to B, C to up to Z to be able to achieve the development we desire. So for me, I would say it cannot be competition. It's just that the circumstances might make it look like that, but there's a lot of opportunity to be able to achieve that.
And this will go to that point, Edwin, you were saying. Sometimes maybe it's because Edwin might be taking, let me just use that example. Edwin might be taking this child to school, like sponsoring this child to school because there's something he's getting in return. He's not looking at the bigger impact, but you're looking at the bigger impact. So there might be a disconnect there. Someone might be doing something because there's something they're getting in return, but you are looking at the impact that whatever you're doing is going to bring to the community.
Yeah, I'm really trying not to say this point that I want to say because it's still early into the conversation. But here is where I really fault the government. Because last time I also talked about this. Because for me, I'm like, who really should do the coordination role? You are a chief in a location. You have is it the social protection office? How do we call that office that registered CBOs? And what is the role of that office? Is it just registration?
Social
or
development.
Yes. Is it just registration or what? Because there is some money we also pay there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And
if it's the money they want, I think KREC is really doing a good job on that line. So if it's about collecting the registration money, then they should give it to KREC.
There's registration money, and then
Yes.
you renew it every year.
So
yearly, like.
So for me, if they're there to just collect that money, then I think someone is doing KRA's job.
Okay.
So I have a feeling
But they
that
don't
their
give
work.
the money to carry.
Yeah, so that's what is happening.
Maybe.
So for
guys,
me, they
listen,
need to have a better job.
Have you had those conversations where you're saying you're paying something, but maybe you're not supposed to pay it? So maybe we are.
I don't want to get
No,
there.
it is gazetted. You need to pay.
So for me, I was like, I have a feeling these people have a bigger role than just registering entities. So if I'm in a locality, the reason why they even look at my objectives and tell me no, change this objective. I don't know if you guys.
Yes, there are a lot of people doing this, do this.
They need to. They are doing that so that they are able to coordinate from my perspective. So they say, okay, in this location, we have 6 organizations that are working towards children. Can we even always organize some meetings to see what are you doing? What are you doing? What are the synergies we can have together? But do you know why I'm putting all that on the government? Because I feel they have a bigger role to play than the rest of the organization. If I get money from a country in the Europe, for example, are you sure their interest is taking children in Africa to school? Are you really sure? Or maybe they just want to push their syllabus. They love their syllabus and they're saying, okay, maybe if we have many children in Africa using our syllabus, we may have workforce that is relevant to our economy in the next 20 years. So for you think they're teaching children, but for them, they're looking for opportunities to increase their labor in the next 20 or 30 years. And I can't fault them. I mean, everyone, even us here in Africa, Kenya will only look what is best for Kenya.
Yeah.
So every country will look for. And in that conversation, I remember telling people that, hey, guys, for me, I wouldn't even point fingers at any international program for doing what they're doing or for not achieving what they're. As a government, how do we ensure that as they are getting their interest, because they are stakeholders, our people, our country, our communities are also getting their interest? So I will bring them together and say, okay, I know you are bringing this syllabus of yours for you to get workforce, but how can we ensure that even the community get the best that they need to get?
There has been an attempt to do what you're saying. The
What happened?
coordination.
What happened?
Because look at the NGO Act, the previous one. In fact, they formed a board, National NGO Coordination Board, something like that. The only challenge is it was used for bullying organizations.
Well,
So there is that thin line between the coordination and the bullying and the deregistration and the threats.
yes.
Yeah. So the new act, the PBO act
Yeah.
that has been signed, you know how long it took between when it was drafted and all that?
It has stayed in the Nini for a very long time.
I think since 2011 or something,
Yeah.
a very long time. And the PBO Act was supposed to achieve more than the initial one, was to do away with some of this retrogressive coordination in the name of deregistration, threats, and all that. And it was also to support organizations to be able to raise money locally, just make development interesting and nice and all that. But I'm afraid, again, it might not serve its purpose. So I think Kenyans are brilliant in terms of coming up with laws.
Yeah.
Even what you're saying about when you go to register an organization, they look at the constitution, all that is just part of coordination, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to write the reports, but they don't follow up on
Yes. Yeah.
on such things, right? So that is the and then if you talk about databases, you expect a government to have a database of organizations operating, for example, in Madare. So when there is disaster, you'd expect they'll pull out that data and reach out and know what each organization is doing. But they don't do that. You get another government
this
institution.
conversation is starting to annoy me. Let's just continue. Because I'm like, what the hell? Anyway.
Yeah, so you get that the interagency coordination or cooperation within government is not efficient.
From what people are saying, I feel like there is even no need to come up with the new interventions from the government on what they're supposed to do in the community. If there's proper coordination, they can just look at what are these youths doing. For example, if there's a budget on environment, look at the youths, the organizations that have something in environment, and look at what they're doing, and maybe tap into that instead of now coming with a new thing or a different intervention.
Exactly. I will give you guys a homework. I don't want to mention numbers here because, you're in Kenya. But before I mention those numbers, I have a request. June, we need to organize either us or get some guests to come and analyze the PBO Act. That thing is something else. And I support you. Kenya, we are very good at coming up with policies and acts and things like that. So if you can get a guest who can talk about that, that will be very interesting. But I wanted you guys to check. Do you know the amount of money that has gone to Kibera for wash programs? The budget that has gone to Kibera for wash programs. We could take roughly maybe within the last 10 years. That budget is enough to sort our wash programs for the entire Nairobi as a county, because it's a lot of money. But wash in Kibra, that is Kenya's largest informal settlement, is still terrible. Even the government doesn't know or have an exact figure of how much has been put in terms of addressing wash programs in Kibra. Why? For me, I have this feeling. If money that goes into Kibera for wash programs is more than even the budget that the government has put in place for wash programs within the county, then where should the government interest be? Because for me, if I have a problem and I know that there is a partner that can give me 50% of the budget, I would really want this partner to be very close, so that already they cover almost 50% of your budget in solving your problem. So if the government knows that the non-profit world, the budget that's trickled into non-profit world can support almost half of the budget of WASH programs, why are they not becoming like real partners so that government says this is the amount we have, non-profit says this is the amount we have, then we select regions and say these organizations are in this. I mean, we can easily sort some of our social problems.
But
if we
also,
bring-
it will give you a leeway to easily now start. Because for organizations,
Yeah.
I know they have PML where they now start analyzing if their projects are working, how much the money that was put here, is it working? So it means also you'll start doing that for the government that you're partnering with.
Yeah, now there's where the problem comes in.
And I don't think if we will want that as the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe being transparent. It all trickles down to resources then.
Yeah.
So then lack of coordination is by design.
Yeah, and I also suspect, because if today we are still talking about youth inclusivity, put youth at the center, it means there is a high likelihood that the approach they used was, let's do it for them. That's why many years down the line, yes, they did it for us, but where is it? So I suspect maybe and we can explore that again, but to a large extent, I don't feel like the youth have been at the center stage of all those processes.
What does being at the center mean?
Being at the center means that I'm the one who is telling you what needs to be done, and you are supporting me to do it.
I think it first means I know what you need to be doing. Like I have, like if I'm at the center of your organization, even as a youth, I have a program of what you're supposed to be doing if it's for young people. So like I have your budget that you're supposed to work with young people. Like I have the entire thing.
For me, it goes a step behind just what you have said.
Okay.
From not just having, but developing it.
Okay,
Because you know,
developing.
having it, I can make it and then give it to
developing. So
Yeah.
I developed,
Yes.
and then you funded it,
you. Yes.
because me I'm just developing.
But again, that is a problem. Having youth at the center really means much that just what meets the eye. And you said it that it's me telling you what to do or something like that because it's my future. Why would you want to fund it? Then for me, I'm like, teach even the youths of how to get these funds so that the youths can. You remember there was a time, and I like these conversations because they always just connect. There was a time we talked about the government not being in the business of giving youths money. The government should be in the business of de-risking youths to
Yeah.
get those.
Yes.
So the fact that the government is the one handing over this cash, already we are tempted to be. Unajua mtu anakupea pesa unacheza, lazima ucheze chini. But if the government was not in that picture, that youths are able to get into the market, the biggest amount of our money iko wapi? It is in the market. It's not in the government coffers. The biggest, I mean, in organization world or in government world, it's very hard to raise billions for maybe you have done entrepreneurship, and I would want you to talk here. If you have an innovation, where is it easy to raise money? Asking for government, asking for NGOs, or getting in the market
You
and
see,
bringing people
the
capital?
thing is, the right question to ask is, where does the government get its money? Yeah.
From the
So there is
market.
money flowing in a market,
Yes.
and the government gets a portion of it.
For Kenya, it's
Unfortunately,
16%.
Yeah.
VAT or something.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
the problem that we also have in this country, and it's because of failures in the systems that we have, is all of us are looking at the money that the government, a portion of the market that it
June, we
gets.
forget government only takes 16%. What is the other
And
six?
people rush there
Yeah.
because it is easy for them to steal it.
But it's something that wow.
Okay, wow. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, but they should still
But
now
it's because
because they won't be able to do
that
later.
one is easy because they've already collected it.
Okay.
It's like they already have it. This one
Yeah.
that is in the market, you don't have power over it.
Now, the government should ensure young people have that power to command for that capital that is in the market. Because if I have 2 shillings and I have a child and someone has 10 shillings out there, I have 2 options. I can take my 2 shillings, divide it. Government also needs money. So if I have my child and we have 2 shillings, I can't give 2 shillings to my child. Kwani mimi sasa nitafanya nini? It means I'll give my child 1 shilling na mimi nibaki na 1 shilling because your dad is not going to walk naked simply because you need a cloth. All of you needs cloth. So the government will take a portion and give young people a portion. But if I can ensure that I teach my child good language so that he can go to that neighbor that has 10 shillings and borrow that money and use, I think that's a better choice than us splitting the little that I have. Yet the neighbor has extra. In this case, the neighbor means the open market. And my child means young people. So if the government can teach or empower young people to that level, we will be at a better place.
Okay, makes sense. Just a by the way question: what if the remaining market is also owned by people in the government? The larger percentage of the remaining market.
Then that's a law issue. Because by law, government has no business being in government. Actually, government should not transact businesses. And that's why people had even problems with the housing shit.
Conflict of interest.
Yes.
Um,
So the government should not be in the market in any way.
And that's a big problem.
That's a big problem.
But they are in the market, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying it's a big problem. It's actually they should only be there to regulate and create conducive environments for businesses to thrive.
Yeah. But they should utilize the time that they still have.
To still
Because
what
the
they
next
are able to-
generation will not allow them. But the
Still.
thing is, from what you're saying,
Yeah.
the government should be an investor.
Mm-hmm.
If you build a road, it should spur development. If you invest in schools, the kids who study in those schools should come out independent and be able to
Exactly.
get opportunities for themselves. If you build hospitals, yeah, it should save women some coins. Yeah.
So you're not going to give women the coins. Do something that makes them save that coin.
What Edwin again is pointing to and relates to the youth is tokenism. Because if you have a government that is tokenistic, it means it does not want to spur development. It wants to feed you, which
that's-
should not be the case.
that's not
It should
sustainable.
enable you to feed yourself. That's the same thing when we come to young people. Young people don't want to be fed. We want opportunities to be able to feed ourselves.
But the reason why I'm feeding you is so that I have you under control. Because if now I'm afraid if I show you how to feed yourself, you might not be able to be under control.
Okay.
Why would you want to control? That's character issue now.
Me-
Actually, our problems are very
for me, this is what I will prophesy.
Prophet.
Any government that avoids enabling you to feed yourself and feeds you instead, once you fatten and you've eaten and you're full and you are tired of being fed, you will deal with that government.
Apparently, human beings, to some extent, to some level, if you feed people so much, they forget how important that feeding is, and then they start hosting.
Yeah,
out of
and
your
if the food delays,
Wow, okay.
I come and demand it.
and I'll come now when I'm fat.
Yeah, so I did.
That's why it's always very bad to have goons during elections, and you think that they will do everything to make you get in power. What you're forgetting is that that is the time you're feeding them, right? And they will fatten. Then the worst part is that they might be effective so that you become the next leader. But you see, after you're an MP or you are a senator these goons won't disappear. They'll come back.
In fact, they are now available to be used by the next MP.
And the next MP might be against who was using
Exactly. But the next MP is coming when? Almost at the tail end of 5 years.
Members of
Meaning you
parliament.
have 3 years to deal with them without any other person. Yani they wanna deal now. It's I think it's easier to empower young people to do what can help them develop than doing all these shady things. I told you that being at the center really means much that people really don't really understand.
Yeah.
I had someone saying, from the perspective of politicians and leaders, I don't like calling them leaders. From the perspective of politicians, they think when they call you into that boardroom where they are dividing our taxes, that now they have a youth at the center. Yes, it means that way too. So you get they take a puppet, a young person, and then they put him in those boards. And what are they doing in those boards? Of course, they are dividing our taxes, and maybe a youth also gets a portion. Yes, that's having a youth at the center. But is that what we mean by having youth at the center? That's not what we mean by having youth at the center. What we mean by having youth at the center is that whatever discussion actually that is going around this boardroom should be about youths. Not having one youth there to represent youths. No. It's dividing our taxes among this table good for the youth. Because now that's now having, you might have youth at the center without even having a youth in that table.
Or a youth agenda in
Yes,
whatever you're discussing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So because we are not going to get, I don't know how possible this is, but the youths, based on our age, if you look at the judiciary, the judges, the top judges there, it's very hard to get a youth in that. But by the nature, I'm not saying it's impossible, but by the nature of our academics, experience that is required, it's very hard for you to be a youth and be at the judicial service pale juu. But do you know the judiciary can be youth-centered?
Yeah.
Yes, because they are looking at how our legal systems are, and they can decide to be youth-centered, even without a youth.
Now,
It's just crazy.
I'm trying to look at the Nyota project.
Umeamua tu nataka kunikasirisha leo.
That is supposed to give young people 50,000 each.
Yeah.
The total cost is about 5 billion. Do you know what 5 billion can do if you decided to do a program that employs or empowers? Or
Is a lot of money.
it's a lot of money. But now, the truth is, with its structure right now, it's a token, just to be honest.
And how many youths are going to get that 50,000? Once there was a time they said if you have a SLA fund, you're not if you've not paid a SLA fund,
You're not qualified for this.
Like if you have arrears, you're not qualified.
So,
And I like the fact that you have brought that up. June, another homework that I want you to do. If you can get a finance person to just give us a picture of how 1 billion is. Imagine at times we speak of 1 billion.
You've never
We don't
even
know.
seen
Yeah,
that
you.
Me, I've never even seen
Calvin.
I even don't know how many zeros
I
are
don't
there.
know.
there
We need to have a
1
calculator.
billion.
We need to have a
It's
calculator.
9, I guess.
And let's try, if you were to spend 1 million every minute or every second, how much would
And maybe if you're listening and you're a finance person,
Please help us. Because I would want to know, if I'm spending 1 million every second, till I was born, to this date, how much would I have spent? I'm sure bado sijafika 1 billion.
Yeah,
But June, what are you going to do with 1 million per second?
by the way, if you spend 1 million,
In
a
short,
month,
I'm just asking, how many seconds have I lived on Earth?
Wait
it will
first.
take you a
Let's just
lifetime.
say if is tuseme to that 1 billion, it's okay. This 50,000 they're going to give each youth. iko tu sawa. What can you do with 50,000 if like you are a young person that don't have a business like you
Bana, I'll tell you what I have seen.
The dust.
You get
You have seen
50,000, you are sleeping down.
yeah
What do you do?
yeah imagine like you are that young person, you are living in a house that is not like haina vitu, hauna kazi, you have like siblings, unapeleka shule, like you just have a lot of things and you're given 50,000
So in short, it is impossible for me to start a business
with
with
50,000.
50,000.
But you know, you guys are going past. You're thinking so much ahead. Let's go back. One step back, right? By law, you're supposed to register a business before operating. You should not operate, then you register, right? Do you know there was someone who analyzed? June, today I'm going to give you a lot of homework. I think some of these things we just need to analyze in camera for people to see.
Okay.
Someone talked about bottled water. If you want to start a business, a bottled water business, the amount of permits you need,
It's more than that 50,000.
300,000 plus. And then you're giving me 50,000. Sasa mnataka nichukue niwarudishia, then nikuwe na deni yenu.
I think it's also you looking at a big business. I think the minds when someone is giving you 50,000 uanze biashara ya kuuza
Labda ya
mayai,
smoky.
ya smoky, those kind of businesses. Not yako yenye unalipa hadi rent. You can't 50 uwezi
Sasa sisi wote
Acha
youths in
nikwambie,
Kenya tuuze
let me tell
mayai.
you, you can't start a business. You can't start a business that requires a space, rent, and stock with 50,000.
But that's business. That's what we call business.
And you know, I have a theory and I'm working on it because I realized if you want to start a business, once you've done your calculations and know how much you need to start it, multiply it by 10, my friend.
Yeah.
10. I thought you were going to say 2.
10!
Why should we multiply?
Edwin 10. And soon I think I need to write a book about it. Because I can't be wrong. Because I've analyzed so many
By the way,
of them.
all the time we have always set money aside to do something.
Yeah.
It's always
It's over budget.
It's over budget.
It's either, as a country, we are all thieves, or we are poor at estimating.
But you shouldn't estimate. I mean, see, it's like real numbers. I don't know why they just go overboard.
You know, the truth is,
Yeah.
even if you do it, the real numbers with the fundi that you're supposed to give the job, it is going to go fast.
Edwin, you know, we wanted to start this business that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
This fashion business.
Yeah.
And what was your first estimate? The amount you
Yeah, I thought by...
Edwin said 50,000. This 50,000 that we are using will enable us to get materials, get those materials alone.
You know, by then we assumed that we had all
Yes, we had everything.
the machines
The
we
machines,
need, the
we have
rooms,
scissors,
the rent, the
scissors,
everything.
So it was just the materials, nothing else. But do you know how much?
Now,
You know, I've never even sat down to like
now I'm
think
telling
about
you.
what happened that day.
Now I'm telling you, I'm about to back it up by science. But if it is not near times 10, it is not going to work.
That will
Because-
then land us to about 500,000. Like
Yes.
50,000.
Yes, and I'm telling you, you will come and tell
But
me.
that is, June, that is one of the like normal, simple business a youth can start that does not require technology.
And-
It's just tailoring.
And mark you,
You already had
have
machines.
capital that you've invested in
Yes.
it. There is a room that you've paid
You
rent
paid
for
rent
that.
already, you bought machines already. You just want
so
materials.
June, which businesses should young people do? Mimi nimechoka.
Kuuza mayai.
Do you know wachana na hiyo? Do you know the health permits you need kuuza mayai?
Yeah,
Unless they're
okay.
telling us to go and break laws
You know,
out there.
let's do
Actually,
this.
food industry is worse.
Let's try a practical one.
Okay.
We have 50,000.
Okay.
We want to uza mayai.
Si nimesema huko kwa food mtoke, juu huko mtaumia bure.
Yeah, but
Okay, sawa.
we just want to show
Yes.
that enyewe, literally, there is a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
50K.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
50K. What do we need?
Trolley.
The trolley.
trolley. Trolley, how much can we get a trolley for?
8K maybe.
Let's bring it to 5K.
Okay, 5K.
You even want to, which I know you are not going to get, but let's just put
Because
it
it's
there.
8K. Okay, okay, 5K.
Let's do 5. Let's
Trolley.
just do 5. please.
Trolley is 5K,
we have
right?
45 remaining.
45 remains. Because this money you've been given by the government, it's very bad if you don't register at least.
Yes, that means
Tao. No, the name
Business
search
name,
950 or something. Name search.
so business name is 950.
We have not registered yet. That's just searching for the name.
950.
Yes.
that's 1,000.
That's at.
Let's just say 1,000.
Let's just
yeah,
say 1,000. Yeah, because you have to. Okay.
What else do we need?
Registration itself iko kando.
Eh. We tufanye biashara to register basi. Okay, registration.
It's good to do a company, but I don't think people will go for
Yeah.
that.
So that
So let's just do sole proprietorship.
sole
It's
proprietorship.
1,000 ama ni ngapi? 3,000 ama?
It's 1,000.
1,000.
1,000.
Okay.
Okay.
And you know this registration is always different from county permits. This is like the
I think the most essential ni ile ya food.
food.
Food handler certificate.
Yes, food handler certificate. It's how much?
It's I think
5K.
per person. 5K.
Yeah.
So we are at around 10, sindio?
We are at 12K.
We are at 12K. What
Yes.
else do we need? You need a
Hatujafika hata kwa mayai bado. Na
Energy.
kachumbari. Okay, to assume unaenda kuset hapo nje, so you'll need like
umbrella. Umbrella ni 3K, 4K hapo.
let's give it the cheapest 3K, right?
3K.
Mumeamua you're getting best
We are trying
rates
to
in the market.
utilize the money we have.
You need a
Usiova-
jiko somewhere.
Yes.
Hizo jiko
Jiko tuchukue kale ka 250 kadogo.
sholseka weka hapo.
So
all
hizo
that.
kadogo let's
we
give
can
them how much?
we can do 5.
5K. hizo
5K,
ndogo
right?
ndogo.
Let's
So
do 5.
jiko hizo vitu ndogo. Okay.
Yeah.
5K. 15, 16, 17. We are already at 20K.
We are already at 20.
Na huyu ni mtu ana rent, huyu ni mtu ana plan kuzunguka
No,
huku nje.
Alali, we hii pesa tuishi na
So
you're not paying rent. It's purely for business. Even if you had not eaten for 3 days, business.
okay, but you know now, because you are not paying for rent, and where you sleep, you pay for rent. So the money you are going to use there will pay your rent.
Okay.
So ideally,
Energy bado tujaweka, which I think is the...
Hatujafika hata kwa mayai.
so for me,
Na tushafika 20.
20K.
so from my analysis of where we are going, 50,000 can only do open air businesses. Uza njugu.
Yeah, those kind.
Yeah.
But that was my question. You know, I asked it and it came out as a joke. Like, if we are going to build this country, do we want our young people to sell eggs?
No. Young graduates.
Do we want them to sell eggs? Do you know there is... let's not overthink this just by mere words that I'm saying. Do you know such businesses who I expect the end? I'm expecting this to go to maybe PWDs, right? Because we need to have programs for them, right? So we look at someone's condition and say, okay, huyu tunaweza mpe permit ya kuuza mayai, inaweza msupport because of maybe restrictions here or there of things he can do or she can do and those that she can't do. That's number one. Number two, I will look at maybe maybe young mothers who dropped out of school and maybe there is, I don't know. These are things that should go to people that we feel are vulnerable.
Who have
the most
limited opportunities,
Yes.
I think.
But for young people, when you're Amanda
Young
uni,
girls,
yeah, for me, I think they should go to the most vulnerable within the maybe
Or
a
even
woman who's
a young person that is reforming, that is out of
Yeah, so cannot get formal
Cannot
job
get
because
formal
of
job,
maybe their
yeah.
history, ama nini, ama I just don't know. I just don't know.
I feel you, and it's
Yeah, 'cause-
hapo naye tulitupishwa mbao.
Kabisa. Because
If you're
for me,
saying the budget is 1 billion,
it's 5 billion.
5 billion.
5.
5 billion.
And it's I think it's a loan. We'll pay for it.
Eh.
Okay, for me, again, when we talk about such things, it's very sad because for me, there is even a lot of value if we run an entrepreneurship program with that money.
Than giving. So I'm not giving you 50K, but I would call you and teach you how to run a business. For me, that will be even more
And
valuable
leave
than
you at
giving
the
you 50.
market, like teach
Yes.
you and give you market links
Yes,
and stuff
because
like
what I
that.
believe, and I said it previously, is that there is money in the market. June sometimes just look at the headlines that these business magazines who scare the way, you so and so raised this, and you know those ones they're always saying in if they say 1 billion, it's not 1 billion Kenyan shillings.
Yeah, it's USD.
So you you can imagine what 1 billion USD is. So if someone even tells you that I've raised $500 million in the market, a good example is Eli. How much has Eli raised in the market? Yani wacha,
Yeah.
see ati. And Eli is a very good friend of ours. So imagine if every young person was in a position of just getting into the market. Because UNICEF gave us some empowerment, right? And now, that empowerment, UNICEF was not able to give Eli that whole amount that he has, but he used that training to get other things.
Yeah.
So that is what I expect from.
Mimi, what I can conclude on this is
We are doomed.
the challenges we are
We are
facing in the world right now does not need those ordinary, like
Yeah, like now you're giving you're giving young people 50,000.
yeah. I'd rather, if we have to do that, class 8 dropouts.
You remember what I said by vulnerable, the most vulnerable.
You saw when people are going to get to like for those trainings, watu walienda hapo, like young people that tunaona tusema huyu ni a young person amegraduate, ametamaki yake yote, ameenda kupanga line.
Many people who got that but it came even from the application.
Yes.
It's like they were targeting those
Yes.
people, which I was like, you're targeting the wrong people. Actually, one way that you should be disqualified is if you have any tertiary education, you should be disqualified. Because we need to preserve you for a
But do you know
country development.
do you know the sorry state is the status that we are in right now?
Yeah.
Those who are in tertiary, who have done tertiary, are now even more vulnerable.
Than a class 8 dropout.
Because a class 8 dropout has done some apprenticeship.
Yes.
Maybe they are selling skuma wiki somewhere.
But me with my theory paper.
So we need to rethink
What's an
solutions for young people in this country.
Edwin, you've gone to the university for 5 years.
So nataka nianze kulia hapa. Nianze kulia. Angalia vile
5 years. So repeat that. 5 years.
You didn't even go for 4 years, the normal courses. 5.